Okay, let's dive right into this. Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are taking a hard, analytical look at a topic that usually makes critical thinkers, well, head for the hills. We're talking about manifestation. We are basing today's deep dive on Alex Harper's fascinating and incredibly grounded book, Mind Over Magic: How to Manifest When You Don't Believe. Let's be totally honest here. If you're a skeptical, analytical person, you've probably rolled your eyes so hard they almost got stuck when someone told you to just manifest your desires. The idea that you can magically order a new car, a perfect parking space, or your soulmate from the cosmos using nothing but good vibes sounds frankly like a great way to end up with a parking ticket instead of a Porsche. But hold on to your skepticism, because we are going to explore why, buried beneath all that cosmic woo-woo, there is actually some hard science at play. But before we get to the science, we really need to understand the sheer scale of what we are dealing with. As of 2023, the global market size of the manifestation and law of attraction industry hit a staggering $38.8 billion. That's a B, folks. This isn't just some fringe hobby. It's a massive, highly profitable, and often extremely predatory industrial complex that has literally perfected the art of selling invisible products. So here's our roadmap for today's explainer. Number 1, the wishful thinking factory. Number 2, debunking the cosmic myths. 3, your brain on manifestation. 4, translating magic into science. And finally, 5, the skeptic's toolkit.
All right, let's kick things off with Section 1, the wishful thinking factory. The absolutely crucial point here is understanding their brilliant, yet totally insidious business model. First, they promise you everything: perfect health, wealth, love, with zero limitations. Then they create dependency by introducing these incredibly complex frameworks like vibrational alignments that basically require a guru's constant guidance. But you know the most predatory part? The systematic blame shifting. If the magic fails, well, it's not the product's fault. It's because your vibration was off or you didn't believe hard enough. It keeps people trapped in this vicious cycle of self-blame, which seamlessly sets up the relentless upselling of the next expensive course so you can finally get it right.
Moving right along to Section 2, debunking the cosmic myths. And this brilliantly illustrates one of the biggest issues. Gurus are constantly claiming that your thoughts emit frequencies that physically create reality through quantum entanglement. Let me be clear, this is a complete misappropriation of physics. The reality check here is that while your thoughts absolutely influence your own perception and behavior, they do not dictate subatomic physical laws. You cannot literally bend the physical world with your mind.
Furthermore, the universe is absolutely not some cosmic mail-order catalog just sitting around waiting to fulfill your desires. This myth is actually incredibly harmful because it implies that the universe actively rewards positive thinking, which ultimately results in some really toxic victim blaming. It suggests that people experiencing poverty, illness, or systemic inequality somehow attracted those circumstances through negative thinking. This completely ignores the reality of broken economic systems, discrimination, and just plain random chance. Physics provides the ultimate reality check for us here. As theoretical physicist Lawrence Krauss noted, if thoughts affected physical reality, physics experiments would be impossible to conduct, as the expectations of the experimenter would influence the outcome. Hard scientific reality just doesn't care about cosmic jargon.
Which brings us to Section 3, your brain on manifestation.
Now here's where it gets kind of fascinating. Like a broken clock, these manifestation gurus occasionally get something right totally by accident. What they call manifesting an opportunity out of nowhere is actually just your reticular activating system, or RAS, at work. Think of this as a network of neurons in your brainstem that acts as a spam filter for the millions of bits of sensory info you receive every single second. When you set an intention, you aren't beaming a signal to the cosmos. You're simply programming your brain's filtering software to prioritize and spot relevant opportunities right in front of you that you would have otherwise completely ignored.
On top of that, we have to talk about your brain's wildly hyperactive pattern completion software. When people claim they're seeing signs from the universe, what's actually happening is usually just confirmation bias. You're just noticing information that fits what you already want to believe. It's also the clustering illusion, or apophenia, which is our brain's natural tendency to see meaningful connections in completely random data. Your brain is literally hardwired to link statistically independent events into a cohesive narrative.
So we are really looking at two entirely distinct views here. The mystical view claims like attracts like through these cosmic vibrations, but the scientific, evidence-based view shows us that this whole phenomenon is actually just perceptual filtering, expectation effects, and the very real placebo effect at work.
I mean, expectation alone can trigger genuine physiological responses in your body, from reducing pain to actually modulating your immune system. That's a biological reality, not a cosmic radio wave.
All right, let's move into Section 4, translating magic into science.
So why are we even bothering to salvage these concepts? Because the human brain is genuinely powerful when you actually use it correctly. Harper's book gives us this fantastic translation guide, directly mapping mystical terms to actual evidence-based psychology. When a guru says you need a vibrational match, what's actually happening in your brain is psychological coherence between your beliefs and your actions. When they say you're getting signs from the universe, that's just pattern recognition. We can keep all the highly beneficial psychological effects without buying into any of the pseudoscience.
Take positive thinking, for example. Manifestation demands this kind of blind positivity and claims that any doubts will block your desires. But a study in the Journal of Experimental Psychology proved that a technique called mental contrasting is vastly superior. Acknowledging your potential doubts and the real-world obstacles right alongside your goals actually leads to significantly better achievement than just pure, unadulterated positive expectation.
Plus, traditional manifestation creates this incredibly dangerous hesitation loop, where people literally sit around waiting for perfect inspired action to drop from the cosmos. But behavioral science shows us what's called the intention-behavior gap. To actually bridge the gap between wanting something and getting it, you don't need perfect cosmic timing. You need minimum viable action, tiny, imperfect, immediate steps, and you need environmental design, which means setting up your physical surroundings to automatically support those goals.
Let's wrap it up with Section 5, the Skeptics Toolkit.
Now, what's really interesting about Harper's method is this anti-guru approach. It explicitly encourages you to skip around, ignore whatever doesn't resonate, and adapt everything to fit your unique brain. You are the ultimate authority on your own life. Treat these cognitive practices as little experiments to observe, not as some rigid dogma you have to obey just to appease the universe.
If you really want to safely mine manifestation trends for the useful psychology hidden inside, use the value extraction method. First, identify what the trend is actually asking you to do. Then ruthlessly strip away all the metaphysical claims about energy and vibrations. Next, find the underlying psychological mechanism, like directed attention or perception shifting. And finally, modify the practice to directly leverage that actual psychology and test it out on yourself.
For goal setting, forget tossing vague requests out to the universe and upgrade to the SMART Plus intention format. This takes your standard goal setting and actually bridges the gap to real results by actively adding in implementation planning, environmental support, and proactive obstacle management. You're preparing your brain for real-world friction, not a frictionless fantasy.
And when it comes to affirmations, please stop staring into a mirror repeating fake absolute traits to yourself like, "I am a billionaire." If your brain knows it's a lie, you're going to trigger a psychological backfire effect that actually strengthens your negative beliefs. Instead, use process praise. Focus on your effort, your strategy, and your development. Ask yourself, how can I apply my skills to improve my finances today? That authentically engages your actual problem-solving abilities.
So, I want to leave you with this final provocative thought. What could you genuinely achieve when you finally stop waiting for the universe to deliver and instead start utilizing the incredibly powerful cognitive tools that are already hardwired into your own brain? The most powerful magic out there isn't floating around in the cosmos. It's the interface between your mind and your actions. Go test it out.